What it do, coaster fans? My name is Ed Fernandez and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to talk about my new series. It's called How Bad Is It? I'm going to ride a plethora of roller coasters and then I'm going to do a review on them and tell you, how bad is it? Are they worth riding? What is my overall score? And what can you expect if you choose to ride this ride? So let's get to it.
Disclaimer. The following video is a series of thoughts and criticism that I have heard over the waves of the internet. For the ride manufacturer and the park, I mean no disrespect. Now back to your regularly scheduled video.
So the ride in question today is a Vekoma SLC model entitled Kong at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. So when this ride originally opened, riders probably thought of this ride as a pretty good ride. It's manufactured by Vekoma, and for those of you wondering, SLC is the name of the model of this coaster, and SLC stands for Suspended Looping Coaster. So if you guys take a look at RCDB's website, it shows that Kong has been in operation since 1998. This coaster has a total of 2,260.5 feet of track, a total height of 109.3 feet, a total speed of 49.7 miles per hour. Yeah, it bugs me too. Why couldn't they just make it 50 miles an hour? I mean, honestly, 49.7? You are that close to 50 miles an hour. Just make it 50 miles per hour. Oh, that makes me so mad. Anyways, moving on. This coaster has a total of 5 inversions, and total ride time is 1 minute and 36 seconds. So now it's time for some of the different elements. This coaster contains a chain lift hill, a rollover, a sidewinder, and double inline twists. So this roller coaster runs 2 trains with 10 cars each. Now, of course, if you're a seasoned visitor like I am, you'll know that Six Flags Discovery Kingdom has only been running 1 train ops for the longest time possible. Now, also for the longest time possible, they've had the yellow train on the transfer track standing, but obviously not in rotation. Now, the yellow train has always been in bits. It hasn't really been fully assembled and ready to go. They've always just had it sitting there off to the side, obviously in some reconstruction mode. Now, recently when I took my trip down to Discovery Kingdom on January 18th, 2020, I saw the train in the back lot on some racks, fully put together, of course, but it was just sitting there. So I'm wondering, is the train in need of some repair that they can't do? Is there something wrong with it that obviously they cannot operate it with? Obviously, there's something wrong with it. I don't want to be on the yellow train, and to be quite honest, I don't want to be on that ride at all. But at least this ride is still in operation with just 1 train ops. Now, of course, this line on a busy day can get up to at least a 2-hour wait, while if it's not a busy day like I went on the 18th, it's basically a walk-on. I mean, there's no wait at all. You can pick whatever row you want. And each train can hold 20 riders. Now, of course, if both trains were in rotation, that would make things pretty quick, right? Well, sorta. So for those of you who are wondering, when this park originally opened, it did not install Kong initially. This coaster was actually relocated from another park to Discovery Kingdom in an attempt to add some different rides to their lineup. Now, the other park that it was relocated from was Ospreyland, USA, and the ride was entitled Hangman, until it was relocated to Discovery Kingdom and relabeled Kong to fit their, of course, animal, African type of a theme. And the capacity of this coaster is 1,040 riders per hour. So overall, this coaster has some pretty decent stats. Now, of course, it is an SLC, so that is the immediate tank on this ride. But overall, if you're really, really, really lucky, you could get a good ride on this, although your chances are really, really thin. On the website RCDB, it labels this coaster as inverted and extreme. And boy, is it extreme, but not for the right reasons. So for those of you who are wondering, this coaster sits right next door to Medusa on the side of the park in Oasis Plaza. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to get some on-ride footage.
Coming soon, hopefully.
So here is some off-ride footage and me getting on.
Still don't know why I did that.
And I'm going to talk to you about how bad this coaster is. So right out of the gate, you're going to go up extremely slow lift hill. And I mean, this thing probably has to go anywhere between 2 and 4 miles per hour. So once you finally reach the top of the lift hill, you're going to descend the 109.3 foot drop, and you're immediately going to get thrown into 2 inversions. Now, forewarning you here, when you go through these 2 inversions, you know what? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes, okay, and envision this with me. Imagine you are on an airplane, and you're enjoying yourself quite well until you realize that there is a little kid behind your seat and is kicking the heck out of it non-stop. That is what Kong feels like. Well, to be fair, I mean, it does bash the heck out of you here and there a little bit, but here's the thing. About 70% of this ride is decent. I mean, it doesn't bash the back of you or anything like that, just gives you mild headaches. But overall, this is a decent ride. Anyways, back to what I was saying. After you leave those two inversions, you're gonna go into a 90-degree turn right by the station. So it's a good chance to yell to the oncoming riders in the station not to ride this ride, as in you are currently in pain right now. And you wish this upon no one. After that, you do another half loop inversion, and then you come out of it with a loose corkscrew inversion as you wrap around the main circuit. That is until you come very, very close to chopping your legs off on one section. Once you approach the first inline twist, you will realize that the track that you just made your exit on is incredibly close. Now, personally, do I like this moment? Yes. Only because I like extreme head chopper and foot chopper effects because it adds scare factor to the coaster. Now, after you narrowly dodge these set of rails, you're gonna go into your first and your second inline twist. After that, you're gonna wrap around the back of the layout and come to a final and very, very abrupt stop. For this, I suggest that you actually push against your harness and keep your head back, because if not, you gonna be needing some first aid because you gonna get whiplash. Just saying. Check this footage as an example.
Damn break.
Not fun. After that, you come back to the station and you just think to yourself, why did I do this? So my overall rating of this coaster. Now this can go a lot of different ways. Do I like the speed and do I like the intensity of this ride? Of course, I think that this ride has some very nice effects that only an SLC can bring. Some good, some bad, but overall it's a decent experience. If the line is over 2 hours or an hour long, should you wait for it? No, don't ever do that, ever. Go wait in that line for maybe Medusa or Batman or Joker, because that coaster has a line regardless of what day you go on. So, I mean, if you're gonna spend your time in line, you might as well spend it in line for a coaster that actually
Is worth it.
The inversions. Now, the inversions on this coaster are rough, I will admit. I don't know if it's the track profiling or if it's the actual ride trains. I don't know where the mistake is, because we're using the original Vekoma trains
Well, there's your mistake.
and not the new ones that they have installed on a few Vekoma SLCs. So if they brought those trains to our coaster and our park, maybe it would be solved. With the roughness, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I don't think we're ever going to know, because I'm pretty sure that this ride would close down and the land would be used for future development before Vekoma manufactures a train to replace the trains that we have now. Okay. I'm done bashing this coaster. Overall, it's a great ride. Do I think that it's the best ride? No. There are better rides in the park that you can spend your time waiting for. Now, do I think that you should ride this ride if you're an enthusiast like me or someone who just wants the credit? Of course. This ride will not kill you. I've ridden that ride probably 30 times already, and I'm not dead. Just slight internal bleeding, that's all. But this coaster has some overall good points. Now, of course, is it the smoothest thing in the world? Hell no, is this thing the smoothest coaster on the face of this earth. There are smoother coasters, like Joker, for example, is an RMC hybrid iBox track. That iBox track is some of the smoothest track I've ever ridden on. V2 is another nice ride. Overall, my final score of this coaster, from 1 being the absolute worst coaster that you could ever ride, and quite frankly, this is probably the equivalence of being dropped in a blender, to number 10, which is probably the best roller coaster that I will ever ride. So for now, where does Kong stand as the first coaster on my list? Overall, I give this coaster a 6.5 out of 10. So that'll conclude today's video. Do you guys agree with my ranking? Do you say that this is probably the smoothest ride ever, or do you say that this is the worst ride ever? Hit me up in the comments down below and share your thoughts. I would love to hear what you guys think about this coaster and some other rides in the park. Also too, leave me a comment down below on what rides you want me to review next. I will review all the different coasters at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Also, I will review all the rides over at California's Great America, and I will also review all the different rides at Magic Mountain. So with that being said, guys, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for content reviews and more. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.